Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I'm Synaaron. I'm glad to have you come back and continue to watch my videos. Today I'm going to be showing you the Eiffel Tower that I made. I spent approximately 14 hours on designing this. I did actually pull up a blueprint to try to get as good of a measurement as I possibly could. The Eiffel Tower itself is approximately 984 feet high, or about 300 meters. So to kind of keep it on a 3 to 4 scale, I did end up making this 256 blocks, which is also the sky limit of Minecraft. So I only was able to go so high with this. Otherwise, I would have gone complete full scale. So with some of my patterns, you know, they won't match up entirely perfect to the Eiffel Tower, but I did what I could with the amount of space that I had. So the first area I'm going to show you is just around this base to the first floor. 75 block wide base on each side. I literally sat here and counted 75 blocks out. When I went to build each leg, I started it in 3 sections, built it all the way up, and continued doing it on each corner. I made sure that all the blocks had the exact same spacing so that it looked as uniform as possible. And to top it off afterwards, trying to get this archway down the middle was an absolute nightmare. You can see kind of some of the patterns that I had used. I felt since the Eiffel Tower has a kind of wiry look, this would be the best option I could go with. Given that I don't have the size I would prefer to work with, this is the best I could do, and I personally think it turned out quite amazing. You can also take a look at the garden that I added underneath just for cosmetic purposes. Added a bunch of trees, added a nice little fountain. It was really dark down here before, and I did not like the appearance of that. So that's why I took the extra time to go through and really decorate it a little bit. If you want to see some of the progressional photos of this project, you can gladly check out my Instagram, and I have all the way from the initial framework up until the completed project. So from the ground up to the first platform, it is approximately 186 feet or 56.6 meters, which I used 54 blocks to build up to this first platform. So it's 54 blocks high. You can see that I actually made it like kind of like steps coming up so that I could add that real good slant appearance to it, which is where I kind of had a downfall once I got to the top because I had no more room to move in. But ultimately, I'm perfectly okay with it. It happened the way it did, and as I said, I think it turned out amazing. So for the second layer, it's about 194 feet high, 60 meters, 58 blocks. You can see I followed the pattern again where I just kind of stepped my way up and made interweaving patterns. That way it is quite simplified, but from a distance you can actually see that it looks like a really good mesh, and I really like the appeal, especially on the lower 2 tiers. I feel those 2 turned out the best. They were definitely the most time constraining. I'd say that they took alone the first 7 hours of this, and the only reason why it took as long as it did was I had to sit there and try to figure out all the patterns to make it look half decent. And I mean, it was well worth it, don't get me wrong, but this was a huge effort that I was not personally expecting to have as much fun investing the time into. I definitely am going to be continuing with interesting landscape projects such as this. One of my 2 ideas that I'm going to be coming up and making are going to be the Golden Gate Bridge, and after that I'm going to do the Taj Mahal. I might do the White House, possibly throw in some other big culturally known buildings, just because those are the most recognizable and they're generally the most intricate, so they're the most fun for me to build, in my opinion. The more complex, the better. I love a good challenge. So from the second platform up to this third platform, well, I wouldn't even really call it a platform, but this kind of mid-intersecting level here, that is 264 feet, 80.4 meters, and I went 76 blocks high for it. You can see I started out doing the whole steps up deal, but unfortunately I ran out of space, and throughout it I was using, for each corner there was a 3 block section, and that went for both sides of the corner. So in total, 5 essential beams running up. And with that, I could only do so much, but as you can see, I'm even above the clouds, which I was pretty stoked about when I actually hit that tier. So from this 3rd level all the way up to the top, it's 340 feet, 103.6 meters, and I went about another 68 blocks high before I hit the skybox. Otherwise, I would have continued investing way more time into designing it and just all around making it as good of a view as I possibly could. It made me feel really good hitting the skybox because that means that I built this to the limit of what I actually could, and I find that amazing in myself. So I also made sure that I left the hollow just center so that we could just drop down and see it from all the way to the inside. Although apparently my garden's a little off center, so I'm going to have to fix that. I did not realize that was the case when I put it together. I thought I measured it out right. Apparently I did not. Still a nice looking garden though, so I may just leave it and call it a fault that was meant to happen. I added nice little flower patterns over here. I tried to make it as professional looking of a design as I could. That way everyone who sees this would have the visual appeal that goes with it. Unfortunately for these trees, I was trying to get them the same height. I didn't feel like building them individually, so I planted them, used bone meal, and so that's where I got the kind of waving pattern with the trees. It isn't what I was primarily going for, but again, I'm absolutely happy with the way this turned out. I spent so much time on this. This was so much fun. Having to actually sit there, figure out these patterns. This is the kind of thing I really enjoyed doing. So on the side of my adventures, I'm definitely going to continue making awesome projects such as this. That way everyone can enjoy it as well. If anyone has any suggestions along the way, any specific buildings you'd like me to work on, how big of a scale you want me to make it on, I'm definitely open to taking some ideas, and if you do have any ideas, feel free to comment them down below. I will gladly see them. Built a little treasure room with diamonds and gold in here, just because I figured I'd add a little extra bit. This is by far my biggest feat that I've made in Minecraft so far, and it is by far my coolest in my opinion. Just the overall design of this, I am super proud of. This is the coolest thing I've ever made. Just gonna give you guys some nice roundabout shots of it so that you can see it as well from every possible angle. Alright everyone, there's my Eiffel Tower. If you'd like to know how I built it, if you'd like me to draw up a blueprint, get an actual block count, I would be definitely more than willing to do it. I have plenty of time to work on it, and if you guys really do like me building these big pieces, I will continue. But the only way for me to be able to figure that out is for you guys to like these videos, for you to share these videos, comment on them, make sure other people can see it. That way I can get as many ideas as possible and make this channel grow as much as I possibly can. This is going to be a fairly short video, but I ultimately am happy with it. I hope you guys are happy with it, and hopefully we can keep going. So, as I've said before, like, comment, subscribe, share. It's the only way this channel is going to grow, and the only way for me to do that is with your help. Thank you guys, and I hope you have a great day.